haven't been out mountain biking too much in the past few years, so when I do go, I like to ride the Blues in the big bike parks here in BC. They have the best machine-built trails, and it's always fun to go up the chairlift or gondola between runs. These are my top 5 lift access bike parks in BC. Kicking Horse is known more as an advanced bike park, but it has a great set of blue trails near the top. There are some nice flowy runs out in the open, and the view is spectacular. The middle part of the mountain is more difficult. On Magic Carpet Ride, I felt like I was on the side of a cliff, and there were a lot of loose rocks in there as well. Down lower, it gets more enjoyable again with trails like Super Berm. A few hours south of Kicking Horse is Panorama, and the terrain is a lot more friendly there. The trails are on the lower part of the mountain, which is the beginner lift during the winter, so it's not too steep there. Mercy Me is a great run that traverses far into the trees and has some nice berms and wood features. There's also some wide jump trails on the other side of the mountain. Some people say Silver Star is flat and requires too much pedaling. That might be true, but I like it. The lack of steepness makes it have a lot less consequence. You aren't likely to fall off a cliff if you hit one of the jumps the wrong way. And there are tons of little jumps on the blue trails here. It's a great area for learning, and it is where I first got into mountain biking. Jedi Mind Trick and Shazam are 2 of the top blue flow trails in BC. My main criticism of Silver Star is that most of the trails converge at the bottom into an often busy and brake bump filled few berms. I took a hard fall there in my last visit, so that's probably why I dropped Silver Star places in my rankings. I rode Sun Peaks a few years ago and I didn't really like it. I found the trails too steep and it was super dry and dusty then. I rode it again this summer and I really enjoyed it this time. As you can see, it was actually snowing and the trails were damp and quite grippy. This made for much better conditions. They have a couple of great blue flow trails called Bermalade and Canada Line that are next to each other. Sun Peaks is also a nice area to be in. It has a positive vibe and usually doesn't get too busy. But as you can tell, I try to ride safely, and so it should not be a surprise that I'm taking the safe pick, Whistler, for my number 1. Whistler does have its flaws. It's the most expensive and crowded bike park in BC, and out of my top 5, it's also closest to the ocean, so it gets the most rain. You could hit some nasty weather there. But looking back on my footage, I just couldn't justify not having Whistler in the top spot. There are too many smooth, wide, flowy trails to enjoy. On the upper Garibaldi lift, there's Blue Velvet and Una Moss, which are classics that don't get as much traffic. Then on the lower Fitzsimmons lift, you can ride trails like Beeline and Crank It Up that are less steep and better for learning. I haven't ridden much on the third lift, Creekside, which shows just how big the downhill biking area here is.